Hello everyone, welcome back to the Soulfall Let's Play Board Game Edition review. The first thing I want to talk about here is the components of the game. I'm only going to cover this a short bit. If you want a full overview of exactly what I feel about how I feel about the components, you can check out my What's in the Box episode for Soulfall that is also on this channel. First thing I want to mention is with the tokens, the little markers, the nomad markers. I didn't really have too much trouble. I mean, I don't know if you can see so well, but there's a little fringe here. It was obvious that the stickers were not actually attached so well to the board. When you punched them out, the stickers would rip, and while all my pieces have pictures on them, apparently some people, the pictures ripped off the marker and you really can't even tell what the marker was supposed to be. But that was a problem with production that the maker had never had this trouble before, but he did give out replacement pieces. This shouldn't be a problem by the time it comes out to the retail market. The next thing I want to talk about is the artwork. I have to say the artwork is absolutely stunning. I mean, you can see it's so much detail and it's beautiful artwork. The artist they got was amazing. I really love that aspect of it. It really adds a lot to the feel of the game. The next thing I want to talk about is the box itself. Now, the designer decided to go with a half-lid box. You can see here it only covers half. It's not a tight fit. The box lid does not really stay down very well. I found when transporting it, I have to put a rubber band around the game because they're really just, if I didn't, it would spill everywhere. It's not a major problem. It's something I wouldn't do in the future if I were the designer, but it's not that big of a deal. That's it for components. As I said, you can check out my What's in the Box Soulfall episode if you want more on that. My opinion on the gameplay is that it fits the theme really well. I mean, you really feel like you're a tribe just trying to scrape out an existence on a very desolate landscape where there's so few resources and there's a lot of fighting back and forth just trying to survive. And it does a really amazing job at doing that. It also shows the fickleness of the lords, that they're so powerful that they don't really care about who lives and who dies. It's just they're there and they want to be praised and get their goods, and they want to be happy, and you have to keep them happy, and it does a great job at showing that as well. I do want to say Soulfall is an extremely attack-oriented game. The large majority of the Lord cards and Devotion cards promote attacking. Really, the person who wins is the person who most efficiently stabs the other players in the back. That's really how the game goes. This game is not for a peace lovers game. There's a lot of player interaction, so if you are into more of the solitaire, we're all playing the same game, but we're doing our own thing and not really affecting each other, this is not for you. This is very player interaction based. Personally, I like the scoring system. It's really interesting how you have the one side of the equation and then you have the other side of the equation, and you multiply them together to get a score. This is the first game that I've seen that has a scoring system like this. It's really interesting. You have to make sure it's a balance of raising both sides of the equation, because too much and you get up with a low score because the other side, the other multiplier is low. And it's an interesting concept, and I really like it. It's very original. I haven't seen it anywhere else. I do have to say, though, the scoring does make it a bit of a mathy game. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I play it that way because I like to do the math in my head because I'm a math person. You don't really need to do what you really need to remember is what you want is two middle numbers is much better than one high and one low. So if you have one side lower than the other, it's better to bring up that side than to increase the side that you already have that's high. The game, because of this, it also makes gameplay interesting. Normally, you want to be the first player to go out. I mean, Ticket to Ride, you want to be the first player to run out of trains because it puts you at an advantage. You get 5 points for going out first, but 5 points isn't is not a lot in this scoring system. When you're talking about multiplication of 8 and 7, I mean, versus 6, you're talking 5 points just doesn't make the difference needing to go out. Usually it's better to have someone else go out and go out last. because of this, because you'll have the last chance to attack. The person who goes out first has the highest chance of being knocked down from other players' actions and not able to do anything about it because they don't get any chance to react because the game is over. This game, while it has a board and it has pieces, it's mostly a card manipulation game. What happens on the board matters a little bit, kinda. I mean, there are situations where you can get trapped into a corner and it becomes hard, but there are plenty of other cards to get you out of that situation. There are cards that can move your nomads anywhere on the board. They can do plenty of other... you can destroy your opponent's nomads to break the blockade. I mean, the other stuff to do that. There's enough ways to do it that it's not a huge hindrance, but it does hinder you some. It matters how you play your cards and how you combo them and use them the most efficiently possible. I'd say for the most part, Soulfall is a shorter, fast tempo game. The tempo and the length really depend on how quickly players can make decisions. The tempo is really that. If people are, oh, I know, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. You can go back and forth. A game can take like 15 minutes per player, as it says. If you have players that take a long time to make decisions, like, oh, I could do this, and they have a lot of time making a decision, it could take a bit longer. Also, I'd say the number of players makes an impact on the length of the game. Now, seems logical that the less players, the shorter the game. In this case, it's not necessarily true. I've found that the 2-player games quite often take longer than the 3- and 4-player games because you only have one person to attack. So you're attacking, then I'm attacking, you're attacking, I'm attacking. It's that back and forth really sets up a dynamic that makes it go on much longer because you're slowly not inching forward but being knocked down. You inch a little forward and then you get knocked down, and it takes a long time. You'll see that with the playthrough. In the 3- and 4-player games, there are more targets. It gets spread out more, and you can inch up much faster in that respect. There are as being a card manipulation game, there are a whole lot of very powerful play, devotion, combinations that are extremely powerful. Some people will say that having these would make it too much luck-based, but what I've seen is there's really enough of them that players are going to see them on a fairly regular basis. It's not really, oh, one person saw 2 and the other person only saw 1, so the person who saw 2 is going to win the game. It's a lot more than that. So I personally think, it's a little bit, it's a luck-based game. You're drawing cards. So there is luck to it, but I don't think it's enough that it's a severe detriment to the game. Yeah, and I'm not going to cover all the cool combinations now. I'm going to let you discover them for yourselves and be proud of yourself. When I do, I will cover them eventually when I have played this more and do a let's play, or how not to play like Will Wheaton of this episode. So I'll cover them there. You can either figure them out for yourself or wait for that. That might be a little while. I have to play this game quite a bit more first. But that being said, overall, I think Soulfall is a fun little game. I highly recommend it. It is a great way to blow off steam and release pent-up aggression because it is all that attacking back and forth. It's a really good way to do that. It's good for players that love aggressive games and card manipulation games, but it's not so great for indecisive or the peaceful players. And really, that's what I like about it. So that's it for the review. I hope to see you in the playthrough episode. If not, please remember to share, like, and subscribe. And as always, remember to stay geeky.